Hi, this is Andrew for Geek News Central, and this afternoon we're going to have a quick head-to-head with three of OnePlus's latest phones. Now, depending on what territory you're in, OnePlus has launched at least 4 phones in the last 6 months. We've got the OnePlus 9 Pro, we've got the 9, with the Nord 2 and the Nord CE 5G. As I said, in some territories you may have had some other phones like the I think the Nord 9R, and in America you'd have, I think it would have had something like the N200s and things like that. But anyway, of those phones we're going to look at 3 of them. We've got the 9, the Nord 2 and the Nord CE on my desk. So we'll take a look at those in a couple of categories, things like screen, speed, feel, camera, and hopefully it'll give you an idea of the kind of phone, or which of those 3 phones anyway, that might be of most interest to you. So let's just have a quick look now. Now, all of these phones pretty much look the same from the front. You've got your black slab with a camera at the top, but around the back, that's the Nord 2. You've got the nice grey matte feeling on that one. We've got the OnePlus 9, so that's the one with a nice kind of misty mirrored finish, and then we have the the CE 5G, which got that lovely green touch to it. Okay, so we're going to get those on the desk. We're going to look at the categories that we're dealing with, and then I don't think any one of these phones is going to come out as the best phone, because for a lot of the time different things are important to different people, and things like the price can quite often be a significant factor in your choice. But we'll take a look at them and you can understand some of the variations. Okay, back in a sec. Hi there, we're back with our head-to-head between the OnePlus 9, the Nord 2 and the Nord CE 5G. Now, this is going to be a contest between a number of categories. We've got about, how many of these are there? There's 7 of them. There's the feel, there's the speed, the screen, the power, the camera, the software, and of course the price. Now, go through this. What we're going to do is we're going to try and pick the winner in each of these categories so that you can get an idea of how the phone would perform for you. But let's not forget, each category is not necessarily going to be equal for each person. For some people, the tactile feel of it might be important. For some people, the battery life might be important. For some people, the camera might be the most important. So this is just to give you an idea, to give you a flavour of how the different phones perform or behave. So I think what we'll probably come away from this at the end is that there is no one winner, but there is a phone which is a good phone for a number of different people. So let's get started. As I say, we're kicking off with the feel of the phone, and we actually have 3 very different feels, if you like, here. The OnePlus 9 has very much a shiny feel to it, if you like. You can even see the reflection in it. You've got the much more matte feel of the Nord 2, and on the Nord CE, yes, this probably is, I feel like, a lower cost finish, if you like, but the one thing about the Nord CE is that it is the thinnest phone by far. So, and you still get that fantastic colour. I don't know if you can see down the edge of the blue. So it is very much horses and courses, and of course at times you will also have the phone in your pocket. So it is a polycarbonate back on the back of the phone. Of the Nord CE, you have got some kind of, I think, glass finish on the back there, so I'm not sure if it's exactly Gorilla Glass or what, and on the back of here you've got this lovely frosted matte finish. I think personally, if I was to pick and was pay my money, I actually prefer this lovely matte finish. It's got certainly there's a certain level of grippiness to it, and I do like the grey, the frosted effect to it. So personally, I'm going to give the win on this particular one to the Nord 2. But none of these really have back finishes. I mean, if you'd like the glossy finish on the back of the OnePlus 9, it really is very nice. Okay, so as we're going to start marking these up, I'm just going to move the phones to one side so that we can start hopefully scoring these. So I think let's give the win to the Nord 2 for now. Big red tick. In terms of speed, well, I'm not going to make you all go through the Geekbench 3 speed tests. So I've been through the speed test for all of them. And just to remind people, on the Nord CE we have the Snapdragon Which one is it? It's the 750G. In the Nord 2 we have the MediaTek Dimensity 1200i, I think it is. And then in the 9 we have the Snapdragon 888. Hope people can read my handwriting. Now when it comes to Geekbench 3, in the single core test you get 636, and in the multi-core it's 1793. We've got 808 for the Nord 2 and 2731, and finally for the for the 9 we've got 11,000 or 1100 rather, and 9, and then we've got 3384. So there's no doubt here that the OnePlus 9 is the fastest one. It's got the Snapdragon 888 processor, which as far as I'm aware is still the, if you like, the top of the range Snapdragon processor. The MediaTek Dimensity comes out very well as well. There's what would you say, about a 30% reduction there, and the Snapdragon 750 is about, looks like, I mean, it's roughly about half the speed of the 888. So I think in this instance we're going to have to give the win to the 9. Now, to be fair to all of these phones in use, you probably don't notice a huge amount of difference. Certainly between the Nord 2 and the 9, I can see very little difference on day-to-day use. Okay, let's have a quick look at the screen. Now, across the board, all of these phones have a 2400 by 1080 screen. That's all across the board. Now, there are some slight differences in sizes, so I'm pretty sure, although this hasn't been confirmed by OnePlus, but I'm pretty sure that the Nord CE and the Nord 2 probably have the same screen in them. Which, because they both have a 6.43 inch screen, whereas the 9 has a slightly bigger 6.55 inch screen. Now that's only 0.1 of a difference, 1 inch, 0.1 inch really difference. And when you put them side by side, let's just see if we can do that without revealing too much about my phones. Yeah. Let's see if I turn them off, it might be easiest actually. Come on, off you go. No, I don't want to. And turn you off too. Okay. So, I mean, really looking at them side by side, it is pretty hard. So you're getting the, I'll just see if I can turn the light off. As you can see, pretty side by side, you can very much see that there's not much difference in size. Now, in terms of refresh rate, these two phones support 60 and 90 hertzes. Whereas the 9 takes up the 60, and it also has the 120 hertz refresh. Now, certainly in use, none of these are bad screens. None of these are bad screens. So, but you know, just on the basis of the specs alone, now it is arguable, to be honest, as to whether, if you think about it, making this a bigger screen for the same level of resolution means that the DPI, dots per inch, goes down. So you're kind of splitting hairs a little bit here, in that although this has a bigger screen, it has lower dots per inch just because the resolution stays the same. But even so, I think just because of the 120 hertz, we're going to give the win to the OnePlus 9, but we're just going to give it a little win, because really these are all good screens. Turning to power, again, all of these have, wrong pen, all of these have 4,500 milliamp hour batteries. And to be honest, in my using of these phones, I didn't notice a huge amount of difference in terms of the length of time that you get out of the phone. I mean, in theory, the Nord CE ought to get more battery life, really, because the processor isn't quite as fast, isn't quite as powerful, and there might be some elements of that, but you know, overall, I'm not sure I noticed a huge amount of difference. If you're playing, for the sake of argument, Pokemon Go, you're going to get through the battery at pretty much the same rate. In terms of charging, the CE supports the 30 watt, the 30, and then we have the 65T across both the Nord 2 and the 9. And really what this means is that for these two phones, it charges 0 to 60 in 60% that is, in 15 minutes, which is pretty impressive. 0 to 60 in 15 minutes, and it will do 0 to 100. I've run out of space a bit here. That's 100%, so from empty to full in 29 minutes. On the the Nord CE side, we get 0 to 70% in 30 minutes. Okay, so in roughly the same time. So on the CE, you get to 70% in half an hour. On the Nord 2 and on the 9, you get to 100% in half an hour. Now, let's be honest, none of these are, this is not even an hour. I mean, this is half an hour will pretty much fill your phone. And I would imagine, just on the basis of this, it's not going to take an hour to get to 100% even on the CE. So look, we're going to give a joint win to the Nord 2 and the 9, but basically there's not much to choose between the devices. Similar size battery, similar size charging capacity. Don't forget though, the one benefit the Nord does have is wireless. Okay, so it allows you to charge wirelessly, but that does obviously require you to buy a wireless charger. So I've slightly discounted that here. If you don't have a wireless charger, you're going to have to buy one to take advantage of that. In terms of camera, okay, so this gets to be very subjective, but let's say, the camera on the Nord CE, the main shooter on it is 64 megapixels. It's 50 megapixels on the Nord 2, and it's 48 megapixels on the 9. Now, surprisingly, this goes down, but when you're getting to this level of megapixels, it doesn't make a huge lot of difference, because on the default settings, you're not going to be taking that full resolution. You're going to be using some kind of JPEG. And what I would say for taking pictures with all of these cameras is that, frankly, the cameras exceed the skill of the operator, i.e. they can take better pictures than really I can compose. What I have noticed, I think I'll try and maybe drop, definitely took some pictures and I put those up on Instagram or one of the sites for the Nord 2, so you can kind of see some of the photos there. The color reproduction, I have to say, on the 9 is pretty good. You can kind of see the impact of the partnership with Hasselblad has had. So very, very good color reproduction on the OnePlus 9. The Nord 2 does some interesting things. It has this Dimensity AI chip that we've talked about, and it tries to recognize the scene that it has in front of you, and then make various enhancements. So if you've got a landscape, it tries to enhance it such that it's a landscape. If it's something else, if it's a portrait, it tries to enhance it as it is a portrait. The downside of that is that sometimes it gets it wrong, and it thinks it's looking at one thing and it's not, and that can be irritating in that it enhances it perhaps in ways that you'd not expect. But you can turn that feature off if you find that it's particularly getting in the way. So I think in this instance, I'm not going to particularly say any one person any one phone is a winner. They're all pretty good, and I think probably if you just look at some of the example shots that are on the web from all the different people who've done the reviews, and you can kind of choose what you like. Again, there's also some differences obviously in terms of the selfie camera. If you're going to be doing more selfie shots, you might want to choose one of the others. So I'm just going to leave that blank, because too much of that is in the eye of the beholder. Now, in terms of software, this obviously can change as time goes on, because I actually do know that there's a new download expected for the OnePlus 9, which I haven't got yet. But as it stands at recording right now, then the Nord CE is on Android 11.0. The Nord 2 is on 11.3, and the 9 is on 11.2. Okay, so to be honest, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. I mean, these obviously are slightly different tweaks, but in this instance right now, the Nord 2 is the winner with the most up-to-date software at 11.3. Now, OnePlus has given certain guarantees, and off the top of my head, I should remember this. I think they're guaranteeing, is it 2 years of updates and 3 years of security updates, which I think for most people, in terms of the life of their phone, is great. You know, most people are keeping their phones for 2 to 3 years, and you do get that security of knowing that you've got too many securities there. But particularly the security updates, I think, are important now, because there's just too many people trying to do too many nasty things out there. Now, in terms of price, let's take a wee look at this. So what I did is I priced this for all the same options. So it was all going to be the 8 gig with 8 gigs of memory plus 128 gigs of storage. And when I did the pricing for this, now there may well have been special offers or changes in pricing and things like that, but when I did this, okay, this one was coming out at $299 for the Nord CE. The Nord 2 was coming out at $399, and the 9 was coming out at $629. So those are, as I say, those are the prices all for the 8 plus 128. 8 plus 128. Oops. Okay, so look, that's all 3 phones that we've had a quick look at, and we've run through all of the different topics which I think probably are important to people. And you know, as you can see, there's a smattering of ticks around there. We've got some wins for the 9. Now, to be fair, we haven't got any wins for the Nord CE, but I think that does do it a bit of a disservice. It is still an excellent phone at a really good price. Overall, you know, it'd be easy to say that the 9 has the win here. But having said that, it is more expensive. Now, it's certainly not more expensive than the OnePlus 9 Pro. The 9 Pro is, I can't remember actually off the top of the price, but I mean, it's getting on for £1,000, which really is a lot of money. So, to be honest, if it was me and I had my own money, because all of these phones, to be fair, all of these phones were supplied for review by OnePlus, so thanks very much to them. But if I was actually spending my own money, I'd be very keen, I'd be very likely to plump down for the Nord 2. The Nord 2 looks to me, has a lot of features, has the high resolution screen, has the fast charging, has fantastic feel. As I say, I do like the matte effect on the back, and currently, as it stands, it has the most up-to-date software, but you know, let's be honest, there's going to be an 11.3 dropping for the OnePlus 9 soon. But at £399 or £400, it's an absolute bargain. It really is definitely what I would be buying for. Now, the only thing I'd say, just to caveat that, is my tendency is usually to buy second-hand phones from, usually in the OnePlus range. So probably I'd be looking at buying a second-hand 8T, but hey, that's just me. So no, if I was looking to buy new, I think I would be plumping for the Nord 2. Okay, so this is Andrew for Geek News Central, wrapping up on our head-to-head between the let's get this right, between the OnePlus 9, the Nord 2, and the Nord CE. All really good for phones, all good value for money, and really you just need to choose what's most important to you. Check out some of the photos and things like that online, and go for it. So thanks very much. Good night.